Jason. We're going for it.
It's so obtrusive. Like if I'm sitting in on a recording, they finish the interview and they were like, Brian, thanks so much for sharing your insights. That was so great. It was so nice to hear about. Recording stopped. I'm just like, sorry, I hit the stop button, but it's not my fault. Stupid Zoom lady. Zoom goddess.
Zoom Sheehan.
The goddess of recordings. Okay.
That's what I've heard. I've heard a lot about her. Is that her to the right? She's just listening it all in.
God damn, I'm always backwards.
God damn. Grunt, whatever his fucking grandfather's Wookiee chin appeal. What the fuck is it wrong with his face? No, my actual question is, what isn't wrong with his face? What the fuck is that? He's upside down.
He is.
Is that his nose? Where does his nose begin and where his chin ends?
His chin is so long that it covers his nose up.
It does.
He can't smell anything.
It's the nose blocker.
Grandpa, you lost your sense of smell.
Jesus.
There we are, man.
All right, we were recording the videos.
Yeah.
Well, it's recording on my end.
Sounded like I hear.
Recording on my end. Hey, you guys.
My name is Agir.
My name.
Is that active? Yeah. Okay, cool. We're on. All right, good. Hey, everybody. All right, I got notes, but I'm not going to tell you what they are.
I've got a shit ton of notes. We got a lot to get to.
We do. We have a lot of days and events and things that were announced that we should talk about.
Okay, kids, let's go.
Let's go.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Go through the whole thing. Go. Do it.
Hello, what have we here?
You guys are so funny.
I believe in you.
Holy shit. Great C3 penis fairy, start you dick.
Good effort. Good effort.
I watched I think it was Fit for a King. He did a 25-second long scream, and I was like, fuck. It's intense.
Ridiculous, dude. No, thank you.
Fucking A.
Good day, Galaxy. Rogue Squadron back at it. Again, I am Mopar.
I am Commander.
I am Commander Good. That's
Is that what I sound like?
Commander.
I'm quitting the podcast, so that's what I sound like.
Well, after getting through the Padme book.
That's one thing you can't fix in post. If that's how I sound, I can't really edit that out. Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Jesus.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday, week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
2021. Yeah, this we're trudging.
We are. We missed
I know we
weeks,
say
so.
that, but I mean we're coming up to like 8 years. That's just fucking out of hand. Out of sight, out of mind. It's ridiculous.
Out of mind, out of spite. It's ridiculous.
Yep. It's within the spite.
Within the spite. Yeah, man, it's almost been as long as Skyrim has been around. We've been doing this podcast.
Battlefield 4. That's how I remember it.
Well, so I've been going through the archives. I have two things to say about this event, momentous event. I've been getting a bunch of my physical hard drives just uploaded to the cloud and safe, just in case they decide to, self-destruct. But I was going through some old episodes of ours where we were loving Battlefield 4 and thinking of how cool it would be if we could play that on next gen. And next gen back then was the original Xbox One. And I was just like, our show has been around for 3 generations of video games.
Yeah. And we're still playing the same goddamn video game.
And we're still playing Battlefield 4.
And Skyrim, yeah.
And Skyrim and KOTOR. That's crazy, though. 3 generations of consoles.
It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, we got the tail end of the 360, then the Xbox One in its entirety, but
Yeah.
it's true.
Wild times, man. Wild times we're living in 21. So yeah, we'll be 8 years old here pretty soon. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So if you guys are catching us, this is episode 282.
Hey, good job. Good memory.
Look at that. But we do have a shit ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I have my podcast points are full.
I want to see that Word doc, son.
I don't want to share it. It's 2 pages, and I'm not lying. At least
how wide's the spacing on those fucking lines? Though?
it's standard inch
3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Times New Roman size 19.
But so we have some updates as far as like Rogue Squadron, Acolyte, that sort of thing.
Yep.
I did want to. I kind of created a list of. I know we shit on the sequels a lot. They're easy to shit on. We enjoy them nonetheless. But I did put some highlights of Episode 9, kind of a short list together.
Okay.
It's not even a short list. It was just things that I like in watching it. I'm like, fuck, they did this so well. But a lot of the other ticky-tacky stuff kind of takes it down a notch, and it just but if you take it out and just look at it for what it is, it's like, man, they did a lot of stuff great. But yeah,
That's how I feel about most of Star Wars.
as a whole, well, it's I think it's more apparent in the sequels, but as a whole, you like or love or hate or whatever, but yeah, got some high points. I think we did this for episode 8.
Yeah, I think so, because you had
Last Jedi?
rewatched it and you were just like, I hated it more than ever this time.
Yeah. So right before we recorded, I actually just skipped to the end battle where Palpy does his Force Storm, and it really just took me like, holy fuck! I still to this day cannot believe they went there. That is a crazy thing to do. A zombie cloned Palpy.
Well, that's every time we've shit on 9, I try to bring us back to the first couple days that it premiered.
Yeah.
And that was basically what you just said. That was kind of our reaction to the movie for the first couple months, was like, I can't believe they went there. And not just with Palpatine, with Rey's grabbing and then electrocuting a ship. Her and Kylo playing tug of war with the ship. Their fight scene is crazy. Zombie Palpatine, Force Storm. There's just so much lightsaber combat and force abilities in there that were, to us, felt like expanded universe territory. And to see that in a Disney film was like, whoa.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of my bullet points on the highlights was the Force powers. I mean, they literally passed a lightsaber through their connection in the Force. That's fucking badass. That's one of the coolest things.
I forgot about that.
And then we see Force healing for the first time, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to say. It took 9 full movies for us to see Force healing, and every Star Wars video game ever created, Force healing is like the first thing you get.
Force cure, yeah. Well, I saw memes where people were retconning, saying like, when Obi-Wan finds Luke passed out on Tatooine in 4, that's what he does. He gives him a little Force healing juju when he touches his forehead.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, that's an easy assumption.
But he doesn't explain what he's doing on screen, so we can't really say for sure.
We could also assume that Kylo just essence transferred into Rey's body.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
That's an assumption. She is all the Ren.
Chewie essence transfers into Lando. I got that the other way around. Lando essence transfers into Chewie. Lando's daughter essence transfers into Leia.
That's right. I remember that one. Yeah.
Poe essence transfers into Finn. Everyone. It's been everyone since the very beginning.
It's always been humans. It's always been them. Okay, so that's what's coming up, and then my last but not least thing was my final thoughts on Queen's Shadow. So I finished that novel.
Nice.
At least the audiobook. Side note, fuck Audible. First of all, they took away the sending back the book for credit. You can't do that anymore. No longer available. Second of all, I can't buy an additional book in my first month. So I bought Queen's Shadow. I re-upped, long story, I re-upped Audible, bought Queen's Shadow, busted through it, and then wanted to start another book. Can't. They said, "Fuck you! Wait the full 30 days, then you'll get your credit, and then you can buy." I can't even buy additional books right now. I'm locked into the one and only book. I'm fucking livid about it because I had a lot of driving to do last week, and I finished it, and I was like, I'll bust through like another one. And actually, my thought was I'll go back to Rogue Squadron, like those the original ones. Everybody loves them, and we're fucking named after them, so we might as well get some.
No, they're named after us. Thank you.
It's true. 8 years. How old are we? Anyways,
I had this vision when I was 3 years old, and then they stole it. Lucasfilm stole it from me. This episode is sponsored by Audible. Get your free trial at mopar.com/audiblepissed.
Audible piss /
That's horrible. Do you think probably... So I've returned books for credits before, but they were books that I never listened to. So do you think it's probably because you listened to it?
Nope. I've returned a book that I listened to all the way through. I did it within like a week, returned it, and got a credit. And I assume that's why they turned it off. I'm not particularly pissed about that because that's just we're cheating the system at that point.
Right.
But
I wasn't.
If I
turned
can't
back things that I never read.
They literally aren't even allowing me to purchase another book. I'm like, can I just
That's weird.
buy more credits?
Public credits?
It said purchase more credits. It said 0 balance, not allowed to until your first month is up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Did you sign up for a new account with a free trial just to get free shit?
No. I just re-upped on my. It's on my Amazon account. I have the same email address. Whatever.
We'll have to ask our representatives at our sponsor, Audible, and see what they have to say about that.
Mr. Audible, how does this work?
Mr. Amazon, call
Amazon.
Jeff, man, before he quits as CEO and get him to give you some free books, man.
That's true. I should text him. So that's what we got coming up.
Cool. I'm glad you got through Queen Shadow.
Yeah.
Again, I was looking forward to you talking through it and reminding me because I read it, but it's been a while. Quick plug. So, as I was going through the archives, I realized that our Patreon was not synced up properly to the private podcast feed that has all of the private episodes on it, which means that's just been sitting there for like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. Because we switched to a different service for a little bit and decided that was not good, and we went back to Patreon. So whatever that happened, yeah, I don't know if you guys have been actually hearing the private feed at all. So I turned that back on. I put all the private episodes on there, and then I sent that out to all the patrons. So if you're a patron, check your email. You should have a link to just click and add the private feed to your Apple library or whatever. It is a separate feed, but it will show up right next to Rogue Squadron, like in your podcast library. And it has all the first 17 episodes that we shall not speak of are on there. The horrible Last Jedi commentary that will get us thrown in jail is on there. So don't tell the authorities once you listen to it. And a bunch of like random bonus episodes and solo episodes and stuff. They're all up there. So
along with that plug, if you're not a patron and want to get access, go for it.
Yeah, please. Now's the time. Because I'm sure I'll find a couple other things in the archives that I need to throw on there. There's a couple episodes that we recorded and never let see the light of day. So
yeah, I remember one of them. So
I was looking for that one. I couldn't find it. I know it's there somewhere. I'll keep rooting around.
Oh, okay. So Mopar's hot take of the day.
I love hot takes. Let's see what you got.
This is an easy one. I said Visions, the recent cartoons, will end up being the Ewok movies of the 2020s. That's how we will remember them.
It is a
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, it's like Jabba's like nephew. He starts a rock band and with a Jedi, and they're rocking out, and you're like, this isn't real. And then 20 years from now, we're gonna be like, dude, here it is. I swear, I watched it. Is that real?
That is a hot take. I don't know, man.
There's some good ones in there. There's some good ones in there, but
yeah, but the Ewok movies are like, if they had made the holiday special, then the Ewok movies would be the holiday special.
But they did make the holiday special, and they remade the holiday special. So
but
now,
bad is what I mean. Ewok movies aren't good.
Yeah,
even though they're trying to be like a little kids movie, cheeky, teddy bears.
Well, they
like
can't.
They're not good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Visions is actually pretty good.
A lot of Vision. Well, some of Visions is really good.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 80% of it's like, I get it.
Maybe I need to rewatch it.
Because even the good ones are like,
maybe you're right. Maybe
there's the oddball things like in the good ones. You're like, oh, this is why it's good, and then there's nothing else that happens. I don't know. That's my hot take of the day.
I feel like the Ewok movies have the they have the baggage of like Lucas, changed the world with Star Wars, and then he went and did this fucking kids movie. Visions is like Star Wars broke out into anime and had these Japanese studios create all of these different shorts, and it was pretty well received, I think. Maybe not all of them are the most epic little shorts you've ever seen, but I think they're all pretty solid.
It just lives. They're gonna live in that same space, in that quirky. Like if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, you've seen them, you know about them. You're probably not gonna rewatch them until you get to that point. You're like, God, I don't even remember what it's about. Let's go back. And then you're like,
that's
fuck.
possible.
And then when you rewatch them, you're like, fuck, that's why I haven't seen that in 15 years, because what the hell was that? But
that's possible because one of my major issues with Star Wars right now is like, that's the only little piece of bonus content that we've had. You know what I mean? We got movies on hiatus, we got Mando, we got Bad Batch, and then Visions. Not to say Visions is bad, but it feels worse than it actually is because that's the only thing we have.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And while we're along those lines, have you heard the delay? The unfortunate fucking punch to the head that Disney. I don't know who to even blame anymore. I really don't. I've heard different stories where God, what's the director's name?
Patty Jenkins
has been delayed because of other projects she's working on.
Yeah.
Other sources I've heard, artistic differences, and that's why she's just gonna go do the other shit first. It's like, so I'm like, at this point, where it's upsetting regardless of your stance. It's like, even if you hated everything Star Wars from Disney, you still like want to like something, like in hopes of Rogue Squadron. If you're one of those old timers that just hates all the new stuff, Rogue Squadron is like that opportunity to be like, no, I love that shit back in the 90s. This is what I'm here for. Yeah. And then we still can't. It's like, yeah, I don't know how else to feel other than like, just, I'm not even mad. I'm disappointed, Disney. That's how I feel.
I think one of their worst habits right now is getting very excited about a bunch of ideas and then announcing them with like theatrical release dates. Because I also heard rumors stirring around that Rian Johnson's trilogy is canceled now. And I think Shinobi mentioned that's not actually true. It's just a rumor because they just talked about it. Lucasfilm actually talked about it a couple months ago. So that could be false. But I feel like they're like, yeah, the Game of Thrones guys are going to do this. Taika's going to do this. The Marvel guy's doing this. Rian Johnson's doing this. Patty Jenkins is doing Rogue Squadron.
Game of Thrones. We're doing all this shit.
Yeah, we're going to have a Batman crossover. And now, Zack Snyder is going to do an episode of Star Wars.
I would rather
they announce this whole slate and then everything gets pushed back.
I would rather, and then instead of them promising 20 things and delivering 2, I would rather them promise 2 things and do 2.
And 3 even.
Possibly
under promise and over deliver,
dude.
That's the real mantra.
Dude, pull an M&M and release something without any announcements wrapped around it. He released an album, a secret album, essentially.
Yeah.
The past couple ones, I think, have been like there's been no buzz around it, and all of a sudden, boom, it's available. Disney, fucking do it. Pissed. Okay. I don't want to talk too much about that. I mean, it's upsetting. Everybody is probably in the same boat. That's going to be the one uniting thing.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's like, regardless if you hate or love all this stuff, it's like, of course they're just backlogging and backtracking.
Oh yeah.
So
well, I mean, it might have unfortunately it might have bigger implications too because they were trying to go back to that December release. So they had 6 movies for December for 6 years in a row.
It pushes everything back, dude. That's
what I mean. If Rogue Squadron's getting pushed back 6 months, then like is everything? I made up 6 months. I don't know if that's true.
I hear you. It's supposed to be longer than that. because there's two movies she's working on in between. One of them's like a Cleopatra thing, which I honestly sounds cool, and I forget what the other one is. It's a large. Yes, that's it. It's Wonder Woman 3.
Figure. That makes sense.
Wonder Woman 3 and a Cleopatra movie. So we are 2 movies. We are 3rd on the docket now. Possibly because
always getting the short end of the stick, man.
Why? It should be the stick.
It's the only stick that matters. Give me the
Yes.
stick.
me
Don't
the stick.
give him the stick.
All right, so moving along on the kind of up and coming stuff, I did see. I don't know how true any of this is, but Acolyte.
Yep.
I've heard small little leaks. One of the things was the Acolyte working title is Paradox.
I thought Acolyte was the title.
That's good. That's really good. That's really good. I'm
The
proud.
working title of Rogue Squadron is X-Wing Fighter Squad.
Well, you know how they do that. They take something. Their working title is usually something like close knit to the production team, or something like it's a small joke or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
But the
Like
working
Blue Harvest
title,
or whatever.
yeah, exactly. That's what. So this working title is Paradox. So that may not mean anything, but it may be. I took that as if Disney's pretty calculated in whether they backtrack or whatever they do release.
Pretty calculated at how they announce 6 things and cancel 4 and push 2 back.
They know exactly what they're doing.
They've used a calendar before.
But I was thinking, what if it's the inverse of Anakin's story? That would be a paradox per se. What if someone was on the dark side? Well, I mean, we kind of get that with Kylo and is pulled to the light. But it's more of a. There's no dyad. There's no Palpy. Like let's go down this path of like Darth Bane, but he ends up like saying, "Dude, the Sith are fucked," and then jump ship. That was my idea just around the word paradox. Like it would be the inverse of a story that we know. I don't know.
So it's not like Acolyte : Paradox. It's like their production name for the movie you're talking about.
It's Blue Harvest. It's the Blue Harvest
Okay.
esque title. So yeah, so Acolyte is the title of the fucking film, but when they're working on it, they refer to it as Paradox. So
Well, the fact that they're referring to it by something different, even though they've already announced the name of the movie, means they might change it.
no,
That's
just
so
like Blue
weird.
just like Blue Harvest, it'll
Well,
get
yeah,
dropped.
but the whole reason for Blue Harvest was that they didn't want people to know that they were working on Star Wars because the fans were fucking psycho, and they
Well-
were trying to like stalk out the shooting locations and like get autographs and all that.
I'm sure maybe it was still along those same lines, but with social media and internet, it's impossible to do any of that because now people are just going to be searching for Paradox. Oh, Paradox is in Chicago. Well, everybody knows, hey, that's the new Star Wars
Yeah.
film. So I don't know. I don't know the meaning or the idea behind it, but
Yeah, because I was gonna say if it's like a subtitle, that means we might be getting multiple Acolyte movies, and this is just the first one. That's what I was gonna say, but I'm incorrect.
yeah. The other small possible leak about Acolyte is it's going to be wrapped around a character named Aura, Aura, and she will be the
Not Aura Singh.
Aura, which is the main protagonist. So for you guys, so
Aura. Okay.
yeah, that's all. That was the small little leaks. I mean, with us getting slapped in the face with Rogue Squadron, at least we get a little bit of teaser stuff with the thing beyond Rogue Squadron. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, like, all right. Did you see all the Disney Plus Day stuff?
I think so. Obi-Wan and all that.
Yeah.
we haven't even discussed Obi-Wan. There's not much there, but
Well, I was gonna say, so we've missed you guys a couple weeks. I mean, we missed N7 Day, so happy N7 Day belated for everybody. We missed Skyrim Day, 11/11. We'll talk about that in a second with Skyrim anniversary. And we missed Life Day. Happy Life Day, everybody. I hope you all,
live.
took acid and watched the holiday special because
Took acid.
once a year you got to do it. It's part of your duties. So yeah, a lot of things happened, and then Disney Plus Day where they announced a bunch of they put a few new things on Disney Plus, and they announced upcoming releases, a couple teasers and everything. I just wanted to bring up, like, I felt like the Star Wars stuff was very lackluster.
Yeah.
You know, like the Marvel thing was like, here's footage for 6 things and trailers for 3 things and announcements for 12 more things. And I was just like, God damn it, Marvel, thank you. I'm in. Let's go. But for Star Wars, I felt like it was, you know, well, the Kenobi thing was what, like 45 seconds long?
Yeah.
And there was no footage for anything else unless I missed something?
Dude, they're fumbling. There's no other word for it. They're fumbling. They're tripping over their own feet. It really, truly feels like they don't know what they're doing anymore. Like they made their money back, and then they're like, we'll just do the Marvel thing because that's, you know, guaranteed money, and, you know, it seems to be working, so we'll just keep doing that, and then we'll just trickle these series along with the Star Wars stuff, and fuck it. I don't know. We're getting there.
Well, see, the weird thing is that they announced that they were going to try to do like the Marvel formula, and then 2 years in, they backtracked. And I'm like, if you guys had just would have stuck with that, imagine where you would be now. Anyways, there was so much like hype building up to Disney Plus Day, and people were like, you know, we should be getting an Andor trailer by now, Ahsoka, maybe like behind the scenes footage, Mandalorian season 3 footage. And it was just the Kenobi featurette.
Yeah.
And there was a little like a mini documentary about Boba Fett. And that was it.
I don't know. I don't know what else.
That was it.
I can't even like theorize around it. It feels like they're fumbling. They don't know what to do. Patty Jenkins said, "Peace. I'm out this bitch. You guys figure it out." And now they're like, that's what we had on the docket. Cue the Obi-Wan sizzle reel. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
Which Queen Davy said leaked the day before online anyways, so everyone had already seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fine. I'm excited for it, obviously. That's probably going to be one of the biggest hitting things that's ever been launched for me personally. But, you know, with everything else that they've promised, it's just been falling short. But
yeah, man. That's a bummer.
It is.
It is. It just is. And not to bring us down, you know, we've been talking about, you know, Star Wars bummers for a couple months now. But that's what's happening, you know? I really do feel like building a franchise, well, they already built the franchise, but maintaining and sustaining the franchise like this, like it's a long-term thing. You know, I'm going to bring up Marvel again. Like, you start with Iron Man. Anyone that's not a hardcore comic book reader is like, Iron Man? Like, where's my Spider-Man? Where's my Batman? Like, that's what like the non-hardcore comic book fans, like, they know those bigger names like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. You start small. You bring back Robert Downey Jr. out of rehab. You start with Iron Man. And then 10 years later, you have Endgame, which is like the best-selling, most high-rated movie of all time. But it takes the 10 years and the 20 movies and like...
Yeah, I don't know if it takes... I don't know if it takes that much. I don't know if it takes that much.
It does, man. It does.
No.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
I want to hear your point, and then I'll talk to you about 10 years. Go.
Okay. In 5 years, they recouped $4 billion. Point proven.
However, the reason Force Awakens did so well is because there was a 10-year gap between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens.
No, it's a valid point, but I just don't... Star Wars doesn't need that build. It doesn't
I think it does now.
Well, maybe for the younger, sure. But
I'm saying in contrast to... Like, the audiences we're groomed now to know that Marvel's going to give us 6 movies and 6 TV shows every year. So, and different franchises are doing the same thing, and people are just used to that steady stream of content. So now Star Wars has to not necessarily model it note for note, but they have to at least recognize that like people want that and they're used to that and they have to do something about it. The whole like 3 years between a movie and there's 3 movies and then we stop for 10 years, like that doesn't work anymore.
Well, to continue my point of fuck you,
10 years, fuck you.
It really doesn't. I don't think Star Wars requires that build. We don't need to learn the backstory of all these characters if you do it right. We've got Solo and Rogue One. There's no backstory. They're standalone movies, and they did fine, especially among the diehard Star Wars fan. I feel like those two can live alone, and they're fine. They made decent money. I know Solo was a little lackluster because they doubled the budgets, but You know
Well-
that stuff. It did. They didn't even require a sequel trilogy for those to launch. You can launch a movie, make good money, and make the fandom happy. I don't know. I just I felt like they had created a formula. We'll do trilogy movie, standalone, trilogy, standalone, trilogy, and then we'll kind of change the trilogy or something going forward. And then it just has fallen to pieces. They've promised so many trilogies.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude. And I don't know. I'm done shitting about the formula and stuff because at this point I just don't know what to expect. I'm just hoping all the series are good, which to be honest, it's the only thing I'm hanging my hat on now because there's no movies. I don't even know what to expect at this point. When is Rogue Squadron coming out? Now are we looking at 2025?
4, I think, would be the next movie.
I don't have enough time.
Because it was supposed to
be
3.
I'm booked it in 2024.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just I'm done with that.
Well,
Next.
Well, hang on, I'm not done. Hold on. I want to continue the fuck you argument. Chill
fuck
out.
you.
10 years, fuck you. They did establish a formula, and I thought it was going all right.
Yeah,
The fans were.
it wasn't just going all. It was going well. It looked like it was doing poorly next to what Marvel is, but it was doing fine.
Or like Solo looked poor compared to Rogue One or something,
Sure,
but it was still doing well.
it was fine.
But I feel like Solo came out and tanked, quote unquote, in their eyes, tanked with the extra budget. And then Bob Iger, as you like to say, was like, oh God, hold on, let's change.
Yeah,
But like, imagine if Marvel, after like Incredible Hulk, like imagine if they like decided to scrap the MCU after that because the one movie did bad.
well, and that's my
Like,
point.
come on.
Don't slam on the brakes because there was one mediocre review on a film that was
Right.
already double the budget. Like you made it work for what it was. Ron
Yeah.
Howard did a hell of a job because I couldn't imagine what that thing was before all the edits and cuts.
And hardcore fans fucking love that movie.
It's good. It's good. And who cares about the non-fans? You're not trying to win over new fans with Solo.
They kind of are.
No, they're not.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm just telling you. Uncle Igor told me something.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. The whatever plans they had, it's just been, I don't know. They're gone. There's no plans now. There are no plans.
There was no plan. Many Bothans died to bring us these plans.
Random update. So Dark Horse Comics are back with Star Wars starting in spring of 2022. I think it was just a short. It was a much shorter time period off than I thought because I think they've worked with Disney all the way up through 2020. So it's only a couple years.
So they're kind of running in tandem with Marvel. They're just doing different series.
I believe so.
It's not like Marvel. Obviously, Marvel's not losing the.
And I've heard that the storylines that they're going to be focusing on spans everything, Old Republic to First Order. So I'm for it. I've always liked the Dark Horse stuff. So
That's good to know. And I think there's going to be a bigger push in the Old Republic. Obviously, we have the KOTOR remake and everything that we've been talking about. There is a big update coming to the Old Republic, the MMO. It's called like Legacy of the Sith or something, which got announced. I saw that kind of brewing around in our Patreon chat. Everyone was saying they needed to jump back on the Old Republic. So that's happening. And then Queen Davy is actually saying that the Rogue Squadron isn't pushed back, it's shelved, but there might be another Star Wars property that is going to take its place. Same date. And I remember actually seeing rumors about there might be an Old Republic movie that is in production behind the scenes, mysterious, under the radar, and that maybe they're going to slot that in there in its place. So I feel like there's going to be a big push into the Old Republic area, territory, region.
I mean,
time period.
You got to go somewhere. You can't sit here and keep doing it. So,
I mean, as much as I want to see like some brand new exploratory shit from Star Wars, I understand. Like, I love the MCU and I'm new to it, but a lot of people have like been reading the comics their whole life. So these characters, like, it's not anything brand new or revolutionary. I think they're slotting them in different ways, which is unique. But at the end of the day, they have a whole catalog of material to work from. So if Star Wars goes back and repurposes Old Republic and puts a new spin on it and remasters this and adds a couple new storylines, yes, it is stuff that we've seen, but with the way everything's going, I would rather have that than nothing.
It sounds dumb, but I completely agree. The formula we ended with Solo and Episode 9, which both, from certain points of view, were probably the weakest of what they had come out with.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's still fine. Keep moving forward. Bring us another trilogy and start again. It's really, you can't keep stumbling and keep questioning yourself. Stick to the fucking plan. Stick to the plan. All right. More bitching. No, I'm kidding.
Let's complain. Bad news first. Bad news first.
If Padme had just an average ass, do you think Anakin would have killed the younglings?
Ooh.
Do you think the downfall of the Republic is Padme's ass?
Probably. I think so.
I mean, legitimately. Hooked at 9 years old, Anakin was. He said, "Angel ass. What the fuck?" And then 30 years later, he's murdering children because of that ass.
Yeah, he remembered those curves.
If she was fucking drywall, he would not have murdered younglings.
Is that a common term? I've never heard that before.
I'm just letting you guys know. We all blame Anakin, but
it's really Padme's fault.
It's the Queen Wardrobes. Queen's Wardrobes.
Well, no, the Queen Wardrobes was actually helping her out. It's that skin tight white outfit in Attack of the Clones that really did it in.
It's up. It's 50-50. That's midriff and the booty. That's the downfall of the Republic.
If she had stayed queen, and she should have grabbed all those giant garments out of her queen's wardrobe maybe, and then kept wearing those big billowy cloaks and shit. There's no curves there. Yeah. And Anakin's just like, "Oh, hi, Senator. How are you?"
Have you seen drywall turn? Have you seen drywall turn a corner? There's no curves.
Exactly. Come on, It's flat. 2D.
2D.
So yeah, I blame her wardrobe. So really, it's the handmaid's fault. They were dressing her.
Wardrobe malfunction. Collapse of a whole republic.
Yeah.
Over cheeks. Double cheeked up on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So imagine that fireplace scene where instead of having the most obtrusive
bust
in the history of Nubian outfits, imagine if she was wearing a whole blanket over herself.
A full onesie that just said Queen.
She's like, "You're a Jedi, I'm a senator, we can't do this." And Anakin would have been like, "All right, yeah."
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'll catch you tomorrow.
Later. I miss Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's the downfall. That's the real downfall, honestly.
It is. Midriff of a queen. Midriff and drywall. It's what gets you. It gets you every time, man. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Honestly.
Random thought of the day. I'm gonna throw this out there, and we're not gonna bitch or anything. Why can't we get?
I didn't sign on for that.
Why can't we get concept art skins in Battlefront 2?
Well, we can't get anything in Battlefront 2.
Think about how cool it would have been if we could have gotten the concept art Vader as a skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like that skinny face devil looking machine thing. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, like the Rebels style Vader. Yeah. Well, all right, so not to, bring up Battlefield in this, but a lot of they basically shelved continued support for Battlefront 2 in order to have the DICE team work on Battlefield 2042. So a lot of people in the community that play both are pissed because they're like, well, the beta sucked and the launch is going to suck. And why would they pull resources away just to make a shitty game? They could have kept giving us more content in Battlefront 2, which is a bummer. But I think they could have if they kept the game going. Because, they did to give Dooku the pajama outfit and to have the Clone Wars Anakin and Obi-Wan costumes on the live action Anakin and Obi-Wan was fucking cool. So I bet you they would have if they kept going.
Yeah, it's one of those things just open up to mods. let people do whatever the fuck they want. It's literally just a skin.
Well, people are going to say you should play on PC because then you can't get mods.
That was my random thought of the day. Because I saw a picture of that concept Vader for the original film, and I was like, "Fuck, he looks crazy menacing. It would be cool to play as that Vader." But yeah.
I mean, we've put our application into Lucasfilm to work on the movies, but I mean, DICE. I mean, we can work on the games too. Honestly,
that's fine with me too.
It's like it's not that hard. I mean, I'm sure it's difficult to develop a game. I'm not saying that, but to not do the fucking opposite of what people want is not that hard. Like you have like literally millions of people telling you like, we just want this, and you're like, well, our investors want us to do the other thing, so we're gonna go and do that instead.
Yep. I'm gonna go through my episode 9 highlights, and I'm gonna backtrack a little bit.
I think Daco and I don't know how to pronounce your name. Buddhas. I think they're playing a drinking game.
Oh,
because he just said dice and drink. I assume because we said dice. Were they just waiting for us to bring up dice in Battlefront?
Are we supposed to be rolling the dice?
Quarter fucking mile at a time, dude.
Quarter mile. All right, flying through these episode 9 highlights, and you can add to them if you want. I'll start with the one that we mentioned before, the Force powers. We saw so many Force powers in that movie that we have never seen, but it was like obvious shit that we've seen in video games.
Right.
Like I said, the passing the saber through the dyad, that's cool. Healing for Storm. When he does that for Storm, I crank my speakers up because it's one of the craziest sounds, and he does that twisted smile. I'm like, fuck.
You sit on top of the subwoofer.
Dude, this is it. This is it. They do it, and then, I'm all the Jedi. You're like, okay. No, go back. Go back like 20 seconds. I'm fine. It's one of those things like... Jedi. It's one of those things... I know they had to say it, but when she says it, I'm like, fine, I get it, whatever.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I didn't hate it last time. Yeah, but it's probably been like 9 months.
Well, honestly, when I fast forward to the end, and I just watched kind of like from Ben entering the Exegol Temple forward. It's great. It's great. There's some obvious like quotes that you're like, okay, that's fine. But outside of that, man, it's fucking epic. They know how to close out a movie or close out a series. And then obviously that last scene on Tatooine, like everybody loves it. You cannot end a trilogy, a Skywalker trilogy, and not go back to Tatooine. How much we hate it, it was necessary, and we love it. So fuck you.
We love it. I don't know if I would say everybody loves it. I think fandom is split, 50-50 on that. A lot of people hate it.
It was necessary. You had to go back to Tatooine. I'm fine with it.
Rey Skywalker.
The reason Rey Skywalker is still like okay, fine, whatever. Like you said, we've talked about that. The overlying story of who she is, and it ends up being she decides she's Rey Skywalker. Completely get it. I really do.
Yep.
But like the details in between, you're like, ooh. You really had to say that, didn't you? But, okay. Yeah. We're done shitting on it. Fuck you. Bendemption, I thought was great. I thought Kylo was one of the shining stars throughout the entire sequel, obviously. And the fact that they did complete Bendemption all the way to the point that he gives himself to save Rey. And I didn't even realize up until... Maybe I just didn't remember. I didn't realize he disappears. He becomes one with the Force.
Yeah, I forgot too. So Force Ghost possibles.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because he disappears and then it immediately goes to Maz and Leia's body, and she disappears. I always kind of associated like,
she was waiting for him. Yeah,
Leia was waiting for. But I don't think I initially remembered like Ben actually disappears. He becomes one with the Force. So
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Bendemption's good. I like Ben Solo. He's a guy. He's a G.
Yeah. Now I wrote down something very controversial here, and we dislike it. I'm just gonna say it, light speed skipping. I think I'm too old and overthinking it, because the idea of light speed skipping is pretty fucking cool. To make it work in a story setting is like, we always want the details behind it. That doesn't make any sense, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, honestly, it's pretty fucking cool. And I did some reading on this because I wanted to know a little more.
I listened to every podcast that Neil deGrasse Tyson has ever done.
No, I read words in a group, which is a
I went
sentence.
to Wikipedia. I searched up light speed skipping on Wikipedia.
They're in a paragraph, and they make articles.
I can't read, dude. How are you going to rub that in right now?
Someone told me this on the street. It was a tactic used by
Was that Neil deGrasse Tyson? Were you in New York?
I ran into him. So lightspeed skipping was a tactic used by a guy named Tommaso, who was a high-ranking member of the Spice Runners of Kajimi. During an attempt to escape from a rival gang, Tommaso ended up teaching Poe how to do it.
Now imagine if in episode 9, in that scene, Poe's in the Falcon, and someone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I learned this back in my smuggling days," or some throwaway line.
Yeah. No, look, you sounded really old.
And then an hour and a half later, when he says, "Oh, I used to be a spice runner," it wouldn't be so fucking out of nowhere, right?
It's true. Yeah. I mean, they kind of play coy with that with, like, Han. Like, he knows tricks and stuff, but no one ever really... Like, they don't question him, but they're like, can you do that? And he's like, fuck yeah, I've done it, kind of, maybe, let's do it.
I just did it.
But in Poe's thing, like, lightspeed skipping is not only... It's like, that's not even possible. I guess Han does the same thing. I don't know. I think we're overthinking it. Lightspeed skipping on the surface, I think it's fun. It's fucking cool. You're flying through all the different ships and the planets and stuff. It's fine, whatever. But I thought the background of it was kind of interesting. At least he learned it during his spice running days. So
yeah, that's a nice addition.
One of the things that really cut me deep was when Rey called Leia Master at the very beginning. That's all I wrote.
Good.
Just the idea of Leia Skywalker being a Jedi Master.
Oh, you called her Leia Skywalker.
You like it?
I like it, baby. I know we've talked about that, like her last name and the bloodline and everything, but it's interesting to hear. You don't hear or read Leia Skywalker very often.
Yeah. Rey Organa.
Got it.
Ooh, now
Rey
we're
Solo.
thinking. Rey Solo. No, it's one of those nods to Leia, obviously. And we see that little flashback where she's training with Luke, but like when it was Rey, you need to do this. Yes, Master. And she walks away. I'm like,
yeah,
hit a little different there. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was good to see.
To continue this, lore of the Sith. So what I wrote was Exegol, the Sith cult, Devil Palpy. There was a lot that they kind of threw, and this is that like expanded universe stuff that I can't believe they went there. We went to a hidden Sith-owned cult planet with a cloned devil, part machine, Palpy. Like, there's so much, like, they stretched it so far, and you're like, whoa, I really do like it. I mean, it's a stretch of the imagination.
Don't you feel like that should have been Korban?
I mean, what does a name... It literally is.
Because, all right, so Corbin's never been in the... Here's my thing. I said this previously about JJ and his knowledge of the lore, and I think he's a wonderful filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Corbin's never been seen on screen before.
Yeah.
So they, in creating a new film, feel like they need to make up new areas and design new things and have this whole new fresh look. And I get that. But at the end of the day, it's like Korban in the expanded universe is rooted in, like, as the Sith homeworld and in Sith tradition. And if this is going to be where Palpatine's hiding out and rebuilding his empire, doesn't it make sense to just have it on Korban? Because for the new fans that don't know any better, it's still a brand new planet. Yeah. And for us, it's just like, fuck yeah, it's Korban.
It almost feels like they're scared to go there. Like, just in case they fuck it up, they don't want to turn more Star Wars fans off.
To do it wrong. Yeah.
To do it wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They played it safe.
I get
and
that, I guess. Fucking Rey Skywalker electrocutes a ship. I don't think they were trying to play it safe.
I don't think Exegol takes away from it. I think not using Korban that's an added bonus that they didn't risk. Yeah.
I agree because I get it because Exegol is like a giant tomb basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like there's like a civilization there anymore.
You know what my random thought was when you said they should have done Korban is what if worlds have been renamed? Like populations have died off, left, and then came back and renamed it. Like what if Korban became Jeddah?
Yeah.
Like over
See that?
thousands of years, I assume that's happened a couple times, and or like there's been a lost world and people stumble across it again. You're like, fuck, what is this place? Sandville.
Well, goddamn, half the countries in Europe had different names before 1920.
Exactly. That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, moving along.
Moving right along. We're trudging.
So another highlight is the Kylo and Han scene. Dad.
That was nice. That was emotional. That was very surprising to see that for the first time.
That
I
what
didn't
I'll
expect
say about that scene is that's what I needed with Luke and Vader in Episode 6, and I think they got kind of close. But they didn't hit the chords that they did with Han and Kylo in 9, which is weird to say. But like you see Luke play the Jedi God in Episode 6, and like I know there's still good in you, yeah, and you're like, okay, like you set up the setting, but nothing ever it doesn't translate, you know. But yeah, the Han when you see Ben, I guess at that point say Dad, you're like, fuck.
Well, I guess
there's a flick of the switch.
I guess the difference is, I guess.
Yes.
I haven't heard that in a long time. I just pulled that out of the fucking archives, dude.
That's something.
I guess the difference is Han is kind of giving him that fatherly advice. And in 6, it's the opposite. He's not going to stop the fight and be like, hey, Luke, just so you know, you should do this. It's Luke that's trying to turn him.
No, I get that. I just really think
It's a nice parallel, though, or like mirror or whatever.
I guess my not even issue. It's just like when he's pulling Vader and has to take off his mask. It's one of those kind of half letdowns. I don't know. It just didn't. It did. I like the newer one. I like Han and Kylo. Whatever. So the other force power that I wrote it under force powers, but it was the haunting of Kylo from Sidious. In Episode 9, when he goes through all the voices, and you're like, dude, it's been Palpy the whole time. But it's not Fredo saying it from the background. It's actually Palpy saying, I've been all these voices. I've been Snoke, I've been your dad, I've been all these fucks. Like, you are haunted by me. I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
I agree. And I was surprised when they put that in the trailer. That was one of the
trailer?
Yeah, dude. That was one of the craziest things that got me like amped. I remember hype going into this one was pretty big. But yeah, that was one of the things. It was like you see him go down the elevator in Exegol and it's all blue and dark and electrocution, lightning everywhere. And then Palpatine says that and you're just like, what?
Dude, I didn't even write it here, but the sound design of Episode 9 is like top fucking notch.
Oh yeah.
The lightning strikes on Exegol is one of the most like bone chilling sounds, and then when he does that Force Storm, it's one of the craziest sounds, and it's just everything works together and in flow with the actual flashes, and you hear it, and it adds so much tension to the scene. It's beautiful, honestly. It's beautiful.
those single lightning strikes, they sound like nails on chalkboard kind of.
Well, but they're accents to what's being like said.
Yeah.
Like Rey will say something and Palpy will just like shoot her a look, and then you'll hear a lightning strike. You're like, "Fuck, he's pissed." Didn't you hear the lightning?
Are electrocuting the ground.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got 4 more here. The confrontation on the Death Star remains. Almost more just the setting. Like, I know you really like the lightsaber fight there, and take her to leave it. I mean, I really enjoy it.
Don't leave it.
It's fine.
Don't leave it.
But the fact that they went that far was a bit of a stretch. But like once we get there, you're like, fuck, this is really happening on the Death Star remains. That's how I feel about it. Like, it's a stretch to even put that in there, but if you're gonna go that far, Let's fucking do it. And they did.
See, that's another one where I feel, yes, I love to see the remains. That's fucking cool. The stretch of trying to, I guess they don't bother to explain it, so that's cool. But like, if it's floating above the moon of Endor, then why doesn't it just land on Endor? Like, I feel like they went out of their way to do different things and make a different planet. And I just feel like if it's literally in orbit around the moon of Endor, like, why doesn't the wreckage just
Well, because
land?
Endor's moving around.
I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's other. It wasn't it another moon that comes in.
Everything's moving around everything.
Right.
Space.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
Final Frontier.
I think we're getting wrapped up in the details.
Yeah,
but
no, that's a small detail that really doesn't matter because
It's
seeing
a
the
stretch.
wreckage is fucking cool. I just don't know why they had to like feel the need to like this is a new planet and there's a whole bunch of new stuff happening and the Death Star wreckage just happens to be here.
Let me ask you something though.
But I guess it would have been worse to see like the fucking Ewoks come back.
True.
Whatever.
What if the wreckage was still flying around in space? What if the throne room, like, I don't know, they can explain it however they want, but what if it seals itself and was an actual still like bubble? I mean, I feel like that would be somewhat of a contingency plan for Palpy. Like, if the fucking system went down, it would secure his area and he'd be blocked off and he'd be fine, temporarily.
Yeah.
But if like the whole thing blows up, let's seal that off and have it fucking flying around.
Yeah, there's
you
just
could
like a strip of wreckage like in orbit.
Yeah, dude,
That
I
would have been
think that
fucking sweet.
Exactly. We're much better than all these writers.
Dude, listen. My application, I've sent it so many times. Hire us. We come as a package deal. We'll work for free. Fucking come on.
Yeah.
We'll make all of your content good.
Yeah.
I'll be a consultant, a Lucasfilm consultant. My first day on the job. Don't push things back. That'll be $20,000, please.
Just make what you set to make out.
Just fucking make movies, guys.
Just make movies.
It's not that hard. Everyone can do it. It's not a difficult thing.
Yeah. I got you. Two characters I wrote on here: Babu Frick and Zori Bliss.
Yes.
Top notch.
Solid. Top notch.
Top notch. The fact that so I also wrote sneak peeks of the black market and how Poe was involved. This was actually a bullet point before Zori Bliss, but if they're gonna go that far and create a random backstory in Episode 9 for Poe and say that I used to run Spice, at least it moved the storyline forward. C-3PO had this knowledge in his head they couldn't access, so Poe thought, hey, in my past, I worked with this black market's droid smith. Makes sense. Let's go there, check it out. We're not on the best of terms. We're going to get fucking attacked when we land, but
Right.
but fuck it. And they end up helping him out. I like... We always want to see underground crime. We always want to see black market stuff, and it gave it to us, it was kind of nice, actually. Maybe a little misplaced, maybe a little late to the story. I was just saying, hey, Poe's a spice runner now. You're like, oh,
Right.
of course he is.
Oh, he's Han Solo. Oh, I get it. Okay. Thank
got
you.
Yep.
I got it. I understand.
Yep. But again, if they're gonna do it right. And Zori Bliss and Babu Frick were great. I thought all those scenes with both of them were, I mean, regardless if it was on Kijimi and it was like Poe and Zori on the roof talking, that's a great scene.
Great performances all around. Yeah.
It's just like you are visually watching the First Order bombard a city and fucking terrorize people. You're hiding out on the roof talking against almost a rival at this point, and you're talking things through and saying, look, this is all fucked. We should probably work together. You're right. Party on. All right.
That was a haiku. Yeah, but we've complained in the past about Poe's story not being fully fleshed out. So just imagine if from the beginning, like,
if they weren't
trying to
killing him off.
well, yeah, but if we knew the Spice Runner thing from the jump, and he was like trying to find his place in the Resistance, but also has a troubled past, it just would have given them more opportunities to just expand upon him across the whole trilogy instead of just like the second half of the last movie, just like, oh yeah, drugs.
Dude, believe me, They could have used that to just build tension, which they are terrible at doing outside of Kylo Ren.
Right.
Because think about it, you bring you do that in KOTOR. If you're a smuggler, it's a smuggler. If you true smuggler, the guys are like, I don't know why they brought you on board, but I see you have at least useful. Thank you. At least you have useful talents. Like, let's try to figure our way
pick
out.
This lock at least. Thank God.
They could have done the same thing with Poe. Like, he would have been like, you're an ace pilot, but we're kind of sketchy on you. You're great. You're useful. And then we could have just kind of walked backwards through his story and got to the episode 9 and been like, like his involvement in his past actually does help us out. So we should. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, think of the whole Hodo thing in episode 8.
Yep, exactly. It would.
Which a lot of people had complaints about it. Just like, you used to be a smuggler. We don't trust you. This whole fucking ship is on lockdown. Go to the, what do you call it on a ship? What's the prison on a ship called? I almost said the brink, but that's not right.
The basement.
That's not it. If you're a pirate, comment. What's the prison on a ship called? It's got a name. I can't think of it.
The Bard.
The barge. No. Anyways, you see my point. What's your last hot take for the day?
C-3PO's involvement and humor were top notch. It's my favorite C-3PO out of all the movies.
I think so.
He's fun. I laughed harder at his jokes in this one than I ever. Like, he's supposed to be annoying. I get it, but this one I was like, dude, he's actually dropping some fucking bombs over here. He's making fun of everybody. So it's
agreed. I agreed on that one for sure. The brig. Thank you. Lock him in the brig, bro.
Didn't I say that?
I don't think
so. I said Bard. I meant brig.
You said
I was
Bard. Fucking playing a lute and shit.
That's what I got. I got to do that too. While I'm down there.
You've been playing too much Skyrim.
Yeah. So, with all that said, one of our other main qualms with episode 9 was with Beaumont Kin, who is Snuffleupagus from Lord of the Rings. He played Mary.
Oh, thank you. Beaumont Kin. It sounds like a goddamn Civil War revolver.
Yes. So Beaumont Kin was Pip's or Mary's character name.
Yeah.
He's the plot describer.
The plot describer.
But so I did a little reading on him just to kind of like help myself try to understand and like this guy. He used to be a historian and an educator, and he is fluent in 9 different languages.
Is one of them Sith?
Actually, yes. He did some missions with, who else was it? It was him, Chewie, and someone else. Whatever. He gets involved with Jedi and Sith histories, so he becomes obsessed with it, and he tries to learn all. So it, like, in the lead up to him just spouting out random plots, he at least they built a decent backstory. He's done some runs with people, and he was a historian, knows 9 languages. He actually helped Rey decipher the ancient Jedi texts because of the language.
See, imagine if we just got
30
seconds of him explaining ancient languages to Rey, and then it would have been like, oh, I get it. He knows everything.
Yep.
But he literally doesn't do anything, and all of a sudden he's on screen. He's just like, Holdo maneuvers. The Sith. Secrets. Palpatine.
So yeah, that's kind of your random thought of the day.
That's good.
The only thing I have left is my final thoughts on Queen Shadow. Do you have anything before we start wrapping up here?
I wanted to know if you saw the Spider-Man trailer yet.
I did.
We haven't talked about Spider-Man, and I don't know if you're hyped for it or if you're just average about it.
I feel like I know what to expect.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna pretend like we're not gonna see multiple Spider-Man and the old villains.
Only the actors are pretending that that's not going to happen. In interviews, they're still saying that that's not going to happen, but everyone's like, "That's going to happen."
Yeah. So
but they're
it's
just like you can't break your contract. Don't say it.
I'm like an 8 out of 10 hyped. Like,
that's pretty high.
I feel, yeah. I mean, come on. They arguably they haven't made a bad Spider-Man movie. They haven't had a bad Spider-Man character in a movie. Like, it doesn't even have to be a Spider-Man movie. He's done great stuff in Civil War. He's done. I mean, they're gonna kill it. It's gonna be great. Honestly, I almost called him Dr. Evil. Oh my god, sharks with frickin' laser beams. Doctor Strange. Any more Doctor Strange is gonna be great.
What if he instead of doing the little circle for his portal, he just does the pinky up, teleports himself?
Oh yeah. What if Dr. Evil is one of the villains that pops up? Multiverse.
That'd be great, honestly.
If I see Austin Powers wiggling his ass in the background, I'm gonna shit.
Everyone's doing multiverse time travel stuff this nowadays. Maybe the new James Bond is actually just Austin Powers multiverse.
100%.
I haven't seen it yet, so jury's out. I don't know.
No, I'm excited for it. I feel like they're trying to keep it close knit, but it's like I know what to expect, and I'm still fucking hyped. That's fine.
Everyone knows. Yeah.
Just make it a good movie, which I know they will. Fine.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, everyone's probably sick of hearing us sing the praises of Marvel, but if you had told me like 10 years ago that at some point all the different Marvel franchises over the course of the past, 10 or so years, they're all going to converge into one movie with weird alternate dimension time travel nonsense, and it's all going to be really cool and it's going to make sense, I would have not believed you. I would have bet you so much money against it, and now it's about to happen. It happened in Spider-Verse, which is a cartoon and not necessarily canon. And now it's about to happen in like a live action Spider-Man movie, and everyone's fucking on board for it. I can't believe it.
Everyone's fucking, on board.
Everyone is fucking in this movie. And they're on board for the time travel too, man. It's crazy.
That's where the spider jizz from his wrists.
I'm not Spider-Man. I'm Man Spider.
I'm Man Spider. You don't want what comes out of my wrist. I'm Man Spider, bitch. No, I
always, on that note though, I always liked the Tobey Maguire, like the fact that he didn't build a web shooter.
God,
I always thought that was cool.
Makes me so mad. What's the point of being Spider-Man if you can't spin your own fucking webs?
I do feel like that is one of the main powers of a spider.
Yeah. Where? Who?
Well, he doesn't get 6 extra limbs either, or 4 extra limbs.
It doesn't make me mad enough to like be upset about any of the movies or anything. But in my head, I always.
You're not going to go pick it outside of Marvel Studios.
I've done it twice this week, but I just
different issues though, not about Spider-Man.
Bring back Logan.
Doctor Strange is a British actor. He's supposed to be American.
Yeah, in my own head, I always picture Spider-Man with his natural webs. Yeah,
I just thought that was cool. Maybe they'll say, hey, different universe, alternate timeline. Then that Spider-Man got the webs, and he's the more powerful one because of that.
Exactly.
Because what if you run out of webs? What if you you hit a car while you're swinging and you drop your web shooter? What do you do then? You're not even Spider-Man anymore.
You're just man. Man.
You're just man. Repair man.
All right.
Talk about Queen Shadow, and then let's talk about Skyrim, and then let's go to bed because we're dads and we're tired.
All right. Final thoughts on Queen Shadow. So this.
Are you sighing at the voice acting or at the story?
No, the story. It's one of those things. So what I put here is, it's not even like a story. It's more of a quote day in the life of Padme, because there's absolutely no major conflict. She doesn't overcome like a major conflict in the thing. There's like a bill she passes at the end to help out a mid-rim planet that's it's something like disastrous happened to a mid-rim planet, but that was like chapter 23 out of 26, and it just happened, and she passes the bill, and then everybody's saved. Chapter 1 through 23 was like, okay, we got to get ready for this. What robes are we gonna wear? What handmaid's doing what? I'm not even joking. Like,
I do remember a lot of that. Yeah,
it's a day in the life of.
There wasn't, but it's like her getting used to. You know, she's got to schmooze with the senators.
Yeah, so the stuff that I wrote here is, you know, you get a lot of the insights of how the handmaidens work with as a system, with security, with Padme, and how the inner workings of it, which is, you know, it's cool. You get to see, I wrote Naboo security, like, okay, that's fine. You see the transition from Panaka to Typho, thank you. The other thing I wrote is how Padme adapts to different situations. I mean, Padme's a hell of a politician. She was a hell of a queen, obviously, even at 14. But you see how smart she is and how she kind of thinks things through and how she fits in and what leverage she has and what she can and can't do. I mean, you get a lot of insight on Padme herself. But my main bullet point was there's no major conflict. It's literally just her transition from queen to senator. You get the initial meeting with Bail Organa and Mon Mothma. But there really isn't even anything major there. She joins one of their groups, which is like logistical construction. It's like, it's weird. It's really weird. It's really weird. I was waiting for something to happen and her to like outthink.
Yeah.
Or, you know, overcome.
Palpatine's not like fucking with her in the background or anything?
No.
Talking shit a little bit, I think.
So there is, they do plant like 2 seeds. She comes across a senator that she's kind of buddy with, but still kind of reserved. And she walks into like a Zoom call, more or less, with the senator and this dark figure. So she kind of walks in on a Palpy Zoom call, but she doesn't know who he is. And then at the end, she comes across Palpatine again, kind of in passing, and she's like, I feel cold. I feel cold. But it's more just
maybe
like,
Padme's force sensitive.
Well, yeah, they maybe a little bit, maybe, but
that's why Anakin was so turned on.
That and midriff, that's what you need.
She's force sensitive enough to have midriff, but not enough to be restricted by the Jedi code.
The midriff does not prevent force lust.
No. Plus 10 to seduction.
So,
well, there is a sequel, so I guess I can understand why it's like more of a setup, and then maybe some larger conflict happens in the sequel.
Yeah, it really felt weird. It really did. I was waiting for something to happen, and it was just more like day-to-day routines. She goes to Coruscant. She meets Bail. Not everybody likes her. She meets some other senators. She gets invited. She gets invited back to Alderaan. She talks to the Queen there. She goes back to Naboo.
Puts on some
They're
robes.
all happy. She meets with her family. Her sister has a baby, and you're like, okay, we get a little more insight on like who Padme was before she was queen. But it's like,
it all sounds like just one episode of a longer series.
Yeah, it's it was the whole thing, and I felt I just wanted more, to be honest.
More.
They did bring up kind of they discussed like recent turmoil on Naboo about an ion pulse cannon. She was in favor of that to defend Naboo from any future attacks. And that was one of the big things that Panaka was like against for whatever reason. He didn't think it was necessary. He trusted the current security system, and she's like, no, fuck that. I want a big gun on my planet.
She sounds like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
She wants a shield of armor around Naboo.
So, which, you know, was kind of nice borderline foreshadowing for Hoth with the big ion pulse. It's like,
yep,
that all that technology might have originated on Naboo for reasons of the Trade Federation. So it's kind of like the seeds are planted, but nothing really. You got to jump a few movies to make this shit make sense.
Right.
Which along the same
loose threads.
Along the same topic, it was noted that like Padme was much more willing to use force or military than Mon Mothma or Bail. Bail and Mothma were very just like peace, no army, like let's just talk it out, everything will be fine. And Padme's like, no, we shoot our enemies.
They fucking invaded my planet. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there was kind of a brutal. I forget exactly how she says it, but it's along those lines. Like,
yeah,
my enemies, I shoot with a gun. And she said something like almost word for word like that, and I'm like, God damn, Padme, she just
I
doesn't
cap
give a
these
fuck.
fuckers.
I murder. That's what you want to know.
These bitches get capped, son. Do you understand?
Random fact. So after episode 1, the Gungans become more Nubian per se. They can actually vote on the queen of Naboo.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Random fact. I was like, oh, that. She said, and it's stated that like not many do, but they are allowed to vote on the queen. And I was like, fuck, that's kind of a nice like sprinkle in there. You're like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
we're evolving here somewhere.
That's cool. Progress, you know.
Progress, exactly. And then my last thing was, and I think I noted this a couple episodes ago, but Qui-Gon was recognized as a Nubian hero because he died
Oh, yeah.
defending the planet.
Hell yeah. That makes sense. He's the best Jedi of all time.
It's true. Actually, when to wrap it all back around, I rewatching episode 9, the end clip, when Qui-Gon speaks up, I'm like, fuck. This is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it makes sense, you know, in a long scheme, you know, in a long storyline, but like for him to actually just talk to Rey, eight movies apart, you're like, we're bringing it way back around here. Somewhere.
Yeah, man. That
It's
was
cool.
nice. It was cool because I guess initially maybe I was thinking, oh, it should be a little bit more. Not him specifically. I'm just saying like all the Jedi. Like I guess my fan brain was wanting a little bit more initially, maybe to see the Force Ghosts in person or something. But looking back on it, I feel like that would have been cheesy, and they did it tastefully.
Yeah,
And they really caught all those eras, and yeah, it was good.
I mean, from Qui-Gon, you hear Anakin, you hear Ahsoka, you hear Obi-Wan, you hear Luke, you hear Leia. Like, those are the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
The sprinkle of Mace and Yoda, and you're like, dude, this is... They did it fine. I agree.
Yeah.
If I gave
nice.
this Queen Shadow a rating, it would be a hard 1 out of 3, and that's if you're a Star Wars fan or a non-Star Wars fan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's just one of those. It's extra content without a story. I don't know how else to explain it to you guys. There's no story. It's. I mean, the story is her day-to-day transition from queen to senator, and she does solidify herself. I mean, that's I guess if you want to, the overlying story is a transition. When she gets to the Senate, no one likes her, and at the end of the day, at the end of the book, she passes a bill that benefits the entire mid-rim system.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a planet in desperate need of supplies or whatever. There was a bill that was put up, and it was declined. So she went and pulled some strings and basically created a bill that would benefit the entire mid-rim, including that one, and that passed. So by looping in other planets and them monetarily benefiting, because what was trying to happen was the Trade Federation was trying to buy basically that planet. They said,
Of course they were.
well, they basically said, if we help you out, you will be paying us off, you know, for basically eternity. So they were basically investing in helping out, and Padme's like, fuck that. You don't want to be in debt to those pieces of shit for the rest of ever. For the rest of ever.
Always.
That's a long
Always
time.
and forever. That's never going to end. You understand what that means?
Yeah.
So yeah, her main struggle is paperwork
It's true. It's true.
and garments.
Garments. Yep. Toiling.
Well, on to the sequel, right? If you can get your Audible account fucking activated and actually buy things again, you got to wait 90 days till you can read the next book.
There's a 0% chance that I read another book about Padme.
It's possible the next one's better. This
You're
is just a
right.
setup. This is a prologue for the next book.
You're right. And
I don't even remember what it's called. What is it called? Padme books? Queen's Hope and Queen's Peril. I guess it's a trilogy.
oh, Jesus.
So there's 3 of them. All right, Mopa, you know what must be done. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. You gotta listen to the whole trilogy. I need a book report due on my desk. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I can't do it.
Christmas episode is going to be Padme.
No.
I'll pull some strings. I'll call Jeff Bezos. We're going to get your account turned on.
You're
You're going to listen on double speed.
extra credits. All right, go. Skyrim, what the fuck you want to happen? Did you want to talk about Skyrim?
I'm thinking about it. It might be a longer discussion.
Yeah.
I have to wait.
I think I bought it. I'm not even joking. Like I booted
It
up
was
Skyrim.
a confusing launch, yes.
I booted up Skyrim and it said, "Hey, there's an available update or upgrade," and it was like $20. I was like, "Fine."
That's
and
correct.
then I started it and I was like, "This looks marginally better." I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, they didn't remaster the whole goddamn thing, but
Sure, I was like, the snow looks more snowy.
yeah, more snowy. The sun's more sunny.
That's true. I
The
didn't
rain
look
is
at the
more
sun.
rainy, and the
I've
grains
heard
are more
different.
grainy.
I've heard different. Yeah, we'll pocket that. That's fine. We'll probably have some other Halo, and I mean, our next episode will probably be full of game stuff. I'm actually off this week,
Nice.
the entire week. So,
well, have you started Skyrim yet since you updated?
I continued a storyline. I bought the new update and went back into a character that I had been on. So,
Okay.
I haven't like started from zero. No.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about next time. So 10 years ago when Skyrim originally came out, we all got it, played for a couple weeks, and then Thanksgiving came up, and I went home and did the whole Thanksgiving thing, and then my brother and I played Skyrim for like 24 hours straight after Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to doing that again this week for the 10th anniversary. So by the time we record next time, I will have put in many new hours to my newest Skyrim character. So yeah, let's table the anniversary edition and we can talk about, all of it and the rest of it next time.
Sure. Cool. Well, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're pissed,
thanks for
let us
watching.
know.
If you're pleased, then start to be pissed.
Yeah, if you're pleased, fuck you.
How dare you be pleased? No one's allowed to be pleased right now. Daco, thanks for tuning in, and Buddhist, thanks for joining us for the first time. Glad to meet you. Hope you enjoy the show. Man, I don't know.
Davey and
I can't promise anything. We're gonna probably upset you at some point.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Might not even try.
But yeah, we appreciate everybody tuning in. If you want to catch us live, we 90% of the time do it different days.
Every time.
Every time. We'll keep you updated. Patreon is always a thing. Rogue Squad Podcast. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Hey man, that's good. That's all I need. I'm stopping it there.
Also, random, you did those pre-episode ads on some of our episodes, which is fine, but one of them's like tripled up. You have to listen to the same ad like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
It could be a glitch.
No, it's your fault. It's not a glitch in the Matrix. You can't blame the fucking security systems on Naboo.
That's funny. Where do you know which one it was?
I want to say it was the last episode. Well, it's the last couple, I think.
And what are you listening on?